So first of all,
So good evening to all. Yeah, I'll just introduce you. So good evening to all. On behalf of All India Educators Forum, warm welcome to all of you. And today we are having Mr. Pramod Shrikant Deshpande with us, who is a TGT chemistry at Vishwajot International School, which is a CBSE school, and he's been teaching there for about a decade. And he was chosen as the youngest examiner in the academic year 2013-14 by the SSC board. And he has been researching on Waldorf philosophy for the past 7 years. And he does a lot of content writing and develops content for NGOs like the Piney Foundation. So we are glad that he is organizing this, especially for our science teachers, and on a very, very relevant topic, that is preparation of lesson plans. So Pramod sir, we welcome you to our platform, and I'm sure this is going to be a good session.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. So once again, good evening, all of you. Let us start this session. Yeah. So when we are thinking to go to the classroom and deliver the content which we plan, there are two important things. There are two important perspectives which we all should be clear of. Those perspectives are how do you plan and how do you implement the plan. Both the things are very, very important from the perspective of a good classroom. So before delivering the content, it is very important that you must plan the content well. So how can you plan the content? So how can you prepare the lesson plan? So in this session, we are going to know about the same. Since we've been in pandemic, we know that the schools are online and so we need to plan the lesson plan as per the needs, as per the requirements, as we've been doing it online. So how can we do that? So before moving towards the actual topic, I just would like to throw some light on the next slide, which you all can see. Everyone is open to answer. You can put it in the chat. You can unmute. It's up to you. So there's a slide where you see an image. So what do you think? Which concepts of science are visible in this image? Or which topics of science are visible in this image?
Gravitational force?
Yeah, very good, ma'am. Very good. Yes. I am getting some responses. Tyndall effect. Very good. Very good. Ma'am, can you please put yourself on mute? Thank you. Thanks a lot. So we can see gravitation, Tyndall effect. What else? Come on, teachers. Come on, educators. What else?
Motion.
Motion. Very good. Very good, ma'am.
Final velocity will be zero. The football will come back to the ground.
Absolutely. 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 Weight. Somebody has put weight in the chat. Absolutely. Weight. Also, weight can be introduced from the picture. What else? We have a lot of trees.
Actually, we can see laws of motion also over here. Laws of motion.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Laws of motion also.
और चलने दे लेकिन मैंने देखा वो अपना बोट वाला ना आगे कहीं भी रख लो और फिर जब लगे
Okay, so a lot of responses I'm getting in the chat is like trees, you can see, light, you can see. Okay, so what I wanted to convey you all from this image is that everything is science, and science is everything. Everywhere you go around, everything you see around, everything you notice around, it's all about science. So before moving towards the actual planning, we should have that vast perspective of science. So science is is a kind of subject which cannot be done only in the classroom, but yes, you must think across those four walls to get to know what the science is. So this is very important. Once before planning, we must know that science does not have any limitations. It is science, and yeah, it is science. So how science helps us to teach different life skills, which we must know. Okay, so what are those life skills? Like we have planning, questioning, creativity, curiosity, confidence, critical thinking, motivation. These all are life skills. And while doing science, while learning science, we all get practiced through these skills. Whenever you plan for an experiment, you collect the materials, you try to figure it out, how is experiment takes place and all. So you plan the things. So you get to know what is planning. As when you perform the experiment, you see the observations and changes taking place in the experiment. So why it has been happening? Why is that? So it helps in questioning also. It helps to develop the skill of questioning. Creativity is must. I think so. I should not focus more on creativity, because all of us being educators are well familiar with the thing called creativity. Curiosity, it makes you curious. If you compare science with the other subjects, science has a power to make the mind curious. Confidence, when you perform the experiment, when you perform the practical, it gives you a different kind of confidence, which helps you everywhere. We have critical thinking. Whenever you do the concepts, like as ma'am said about laws of motion, once children get the law, and once he applies the law somewhere, and once he feels it, oh, I have applied the law and it is correct, so it makes them motivated also. At the same time, we have it develops the communication skill. When experiments are performed, we have discussions going on. So while discussion, children do communicate with each other. While communicating, they start using the scientific terms also. Then is analysis. If two children are performing the experiment, if they observe it, observation is must. And when they observe it, they get to analyze, how is he performing, how is she performing, what are the similarities in the performing experiments, what are the differences noticed in performing experiments. Then we have decision making, flexibility. Children are flexible, but many a times when they perform experiment, they might get failure, they might face the failure, but this is something which them makes flexible. And evaluation. So before planning the lesson, we must know how can we take these skills from them after a session. So we have now number of skills in front of us, so we should plan our lesson accordingly, so as to see at the end yeah, at least they are touching few of the skills. At least they are the few of the skills which I've listed over here are getting practiced. So this needs to be keep in mind before planning a lesson. Now the intro of the lesson. Now I'm just going through a format which all of us follow. Is name of the teacher and grade, section, subject we have, then topic. So I have mentioned the day. The thing is, mostly lesson plans are made unit wise or topic wise. Some teachers make it chapter wise. So it depends. But what I feel, what I have experienced is, when you make lesson plan day wise, it gives you an idea. Like if I have done the concept of gravitational force today, if how good the delivery of content was, how much children have understood, how much children have applied. Like when I reflect myself, I get to know, no, still I need to put more light on it. Still I need to put more focus on it. So how it can be done. So for this, I feel day-wise planning is important. When you plan the lesson day-wise, you'll get to know how the lesson is going, how the chapter is going, and date. Next is objectives. We all of us are familiar with the objectives. Objectives need to be smart, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. whenever we are setting the objectives for the particular topic, we need to find the objective which I have set, is it a smart objective? So Bloom's taxonomy is something I think so we all of us are familiar with, which helps us a lot to form the objectives topic wise. Next comes is materials. I think so RBA teaches us material is something, you know, which is used by a teacher or which is used by a student. But I always feel the material should be something which is excluding blackboard, chalk, duster, book, notebook, pen. I feel these are not the materials. Materials are the things which are used by a teacher or a student. Like if I am performing the activity, so what material I have to perform the activity, what material children are carrying with them to perform the activity. So these are the actual materials, rather than we have blackboard, chalk, duster, book and notebook. So materials is important. So whenever we plan the lesson, or whenever we plan the topic, we need to keep in mind that we must mention materials excluding blackboard, chalk, duster. Nowadays we have whiteboards, we have stylus and all those things. So we should not involve all those things as materials. Next is intro of the lesson plan, that is start of the lesson plan. Children, every child is unique, every child is different. Every child sits for a session, sits for a class with having different thoughts in mind. Few of them might be wondering what has been happening in the kitchen as the classes are going online. Few of them wondering what has been happening, like how my friend is playing the online game and all. So there are number of distractions. There are n number of distractions. So you should start the chapter in such a way, or you should start your session in such a way that you should try your best to minimize the distractions. More you minimize their distractions, more they get involved in your session. So how can you minimize all those distractions? So you can use some icebreakers, you can use some activities, you can use some sharing. Sharing is something like just asking a child about how are you fine, how are you doing? So making them feel involved in the classroom is very important right at the start. I think so start is something which sets the tempo of your session. So you should use all those different techniques to bring them in the class mentally. That is the start. Then we have the component called interest. So if I have chosen the topic, but I should not touch the topic directly. I should use the following which I have listed to bring them to the topic. You must have all of us been watching number of reality shows and all. So when a singer sings the song, so before singing, he has that alap, and he does the alap, and then he slowly takes you to the song. So the transition between your content and your interest must be very, very smooth. And when will it be smooth? When your interest is prominent. So how can you have the interest of the child about your topic? You can have a puzzle, you can show them a demo or an experiment, you can use some probing questions, you can show them a video clip. Nowadays GIF files is something which is being widely used. So you can show them a small clip of 3 to 4 seconds, which is very interesting, related to the topic, relevant to the topic, and which will create the interest about the topic which you are going to do it in the session. So these are the following things which I have listed over here, can be used to create the interest among the children before actually touching the topic. I'm getting lots of questions in the chat. I have kept certain time for the discussion over the session. So we'll surely discuss all those questions. Next is teach. Nowadays, as everything is online, the classes are of 40 minutes, 50 minutes, 30 minutes. It varies as per the schools, as per the organizations. So nobody has a good time of attention span, like sitting continuously for 30 minutes or 40 minutes, even like we also. So when we think of children, they do sit, but when will they sit? When your teach part is more interesting. So how will you make your teach part more interesting? So first thing you actually need to keep in mind this, when we say teach, it means it is about teacher. It is about teacher. No, it's not about teacher. If a teacher starts his delivery of content as it is just right from the abstract, children might get lost somewhere. So here you must probably avoid the term called lecturing, like in case of language teacher, even in case of history civics teacher. If it goes on continuous lecturing, I'm sure there are only few in the class who are, who are always good in the class, who likes to do well in the who do well actually in the class. So for them it becomes fine, but there are many who do not like lecturing. Somebody is coming and just started lecturing throughout the 30 minutes or throughout the 40 minutes. So how can you minimize the lecturing part? Instead of lecturing, how can you play a role of facilitator in the class? So you can have different components which I have listed over here, which can be used to express your content. Now, what are those different components which you can see? Either you can have an activity or experiment. I will suggest over here, like in the coming slides, I'm going to come to the resources, like which resources can be used, which resources are easily available in terms of activities and experiments. So I always feel you should design the activities and experiments in such a manner that the material is available very easily. Since we are online, we need to see, like if I'm performing, if I want my children to do sedimentation, decantation, and filtration. Okay, let's not think about filtration. Let's think about sedimentation as well as decantation. They can have a glass and water and soil. So try to figure out those materials which are very easily available for them, which are very easily accessible for them. So as to like when they feel the material, when they do something with the material, they get the feeling, which is very important. So activity or experiment can be performed by a teacher or by students also. But I will suggest over here ki it's always better if it is performed by the children. I'll tell you why. Children learn more when they feel it, isn't it? When a teacher performs the experiment, yeah, obviously they observe, they get to know what is happening. But if something which is done by a teacher is done by children, they feel it and then they have an immense interest in the same. So it is always like there are few experiments, like if you want to know the characteristics of synthetic fibers where you need to use the fire. Yes, of course, it is always good if a teacher performs. If child is performing, then there has to be someone with the child in the house, so as to see how is he performing. Only from the perspective of precautions. Okay, either you can use models or specimens, you can make them observe. Nowadays we can get high definition images on the Google itself, so there is no need of microscope, so they can observe those specimens. You can use some videos as well as film clipping. When it comes to videos, I feel videos should not be so long and it's like they are covering the whole content part and then just still the teacher is asking the questions. So this should not happen. Video, you can, if you are doing earthquake, like how does earthquake take place, yeah, you can show them about earthquake and all. Let them watch the video, let them uh, write it on the paper, let them write it in the notebook. What did they see? Let them, and after writing, let them think what have they written. Are they able to build relations between the points which they have put it on the paper? If yes, then then give them some time to find out the correlation between the points they have written. You never know, like sometimes they come up with very interesting ideas and the concepts which we are thinking of. So it is always good to use videos as well as film clippings. Images can be always a good tool to use. Questions, I feel, when you teach, it is very important to it is if you are if you are concentrating to ask the questions, then you should uh, frame your questions in such a way that the question should not be very boring or very straightforward. Have some open-ended questions, make them think. Okay, you can, if you are doing something related to the farm, like crop production and management, let take them to the field. Now online you can take them to the farm through a video, through different simulations. In whole those teach part, I just feel that even discussions are important, but whenever the discussions are taking place, you need to see the discussions are the meaning one where children are discussing more rather than a teacher. Teacher's role it just has to be a facilitator. Teacher should not be the host of the class, where children need to be discussed, children need to think. So in short, children should do more rather than a teacher. So this is how the teach part becomes. Then is apply. Like if I have taught them ball and socket joint, then what? Like, would it be end only with drawing the figure and labeling? No. Let them make a model. Let them feel what is ball, what is socket, how both of them are fixed so as to form the joint. Same thing goes with the hinge joint, neck joint. Let them create the models to feel what have they done, what have they studied. Creative writing is again a good tool. Like if they have watched video, let them put their observations, let them frame their observations in their own way. They can draw diagrams, they can illustrate from what they have learned. You can have some manipulation based activities, you can give them some worksheets to solve, you can give them some group projects. So there are various options when it comes to apply, but I feel most important is if they have learned a concept, try make them to relate with day-to-day life. As the first slide was all about finding science everywhere, let them relate the science, let them relate the topics, let them relate the concepts. When they do that, they'll do definitely learn more. So in this way, your apply component can be very interesting rather than just asking few questions. Next is assess what they have learned. How are you going to evaluate? So you can use the just a minute. Sure. So you can use those various options like pop quiz, you can have group presentations, drawing, oral exemplars, you can have MCQs. Nowadays, CBSE has introduced case study based questions, situation based questions. So these questions, these type of questions play an important role, a vital role in making children think. Like the way I have just put a figure, which one will feel first. So this will definitely make them think. So you should design your assess component in such a way that they should think what they have learned. It's not only they have done the concept, they have understood the concept, but how much have they understood the concept? What is the accuracy in understanding the concept? Or how will you get the clarity when you design the assess component in a proper way? We have assertion reason questions. We can use Google Forms. We can have written test. Okay. I feel MCQs are very important. Like as this year for class 10 as well as 9, they have put term 1 for questions like MCQs, case study based, situation based, assertion reason. So they will surely get prepared for all those things if your assess component is very well. So make them more think and give the answers. So this becomes assess. Then is closure. How are you closing the topic? So either you can have a quick recap, what you have learned in the session, or what you are going to learn. Like if I have done the concept of evaporation in the class, and I want them to do condensation in the next section, So what should I do so as to introduce condensation for them? Can I give some situation for them where they'll try to understand, oh, this is because of condensation. They might not be knowing that it is condensation, but they may try to figure it out. Why is this? Why is that? So they will have the questions in the mind. They'll try to find out the answers, and then it would be easy for them to reach to the concept. So here you have a good scope. Like you can set up your expectations for next class by giving proper instructions. Even homework, I feel this is the most important component when you plan your lesson. That is the reason first point I have mentioned is writing question answers in the notebook is never a good task every time. Instead, what you do, like you have, we have done this concept, and these are the short answered questions on this topic. These are the long answer questions. But besides that, what else you can give them as a homework? Sometimes they will do your homework as a teacher has said the homework to do, like you need to complete these 4 questions, these 3 questions. As teacher has said, they'll do it. But if you keep your homework interesting, if you try to create some interest in giving the homework, more they get interested. Like what you can do, let them visit that particular place and collect information. That could be a good homework. Let them do a survey. You can put some HOTS, or higher order thinking skill questions. Tell them to make a chart or poster somewhere which they like. Mostly probably children like draw, color. So let them film a short video. If we have reflection, refraction, so they just try to let them find out where is the reflection taking place nearby me, how is it taking place. Let them film a short video. So that could be a good homework. We have some online games as a homework. So one I have put, this is very interesting game. Let us do it just as a sample. I would like to show you all. I'm sharing my screen. Just let me know once you get to see my screen. Can you all see my screen? Can I just get your virtual thumbs up so that I can proceed? Great. So this game is all about bacteria in the cafeteria. This game can be taken after learning the type of microorganisms. Not all microorganisms are harmful, yeah, but there are some which are useful for us. So how can they learn this through a game? How can they do this as a homework? So it's a very simple game. You need to find and click on the star. You need to read the fact and figure it out if microbe describes can help people or harm the people or hurt them. In this way, you need to find out the 12 stars, and the riddle is given. So let us just do it. So can you just identify where you have the stars? I'm unmuting you all. You all are on mute. Let me unmute you all. So you just name star one by one. Where do you see the star in the picture? So that I'll click on the star and we'll get to know the fact.
Vegetables.
Yeah. So there you can have on the vegetables. So you, yeah, we'll go one by one. We'll go one by one. Yeah. So, ma'am, can you just read it out?
Door.
Yeah. Can you just read it out? The content on my screen, like.
Fruits are full of fiber, a
Yeah.
tasty treat for the bacteria that live in your gut. Do these bacteria help people?
Yeah. So what do you think?
Yes.
Yeah. So you are right. So in this way, they need to figure it out the 12 stars. Like we have one more here. So you'll get the fact, and where children have to identify whether this particular bacteria is useful for or harmful. So when they'll get all the stars, there is a riddle at the end. So one by one, the letters they'll get the letters. Yeah. So here we have we get all those letters. Now, why don't microbes get married? Because they are after each star, you will get a letter, and you'll get the sentence to be formed at the end of finding all those 12 stars. So this becomes an interesting task. It's a game. Children do take immense interest while doing that. They are curious about finding the stars. They are curious about reading the facts. And yes, when they get all the letters, they'll get certain statement which will surely help them to know one more fact about the bacteria, about the microbes. Do they get married or not? So I'm just sharing this link with all of you. You can check it later on.
Okay, sir.
Okay, again, let us move to the plan. So we were discussing about homework. So let us try to have the homework a creative one rather than just writing question answers. So I'm sure if you use those various techniques for the purpose of homework, they'll surely do the they'll surely do the homework with interest. This is an important slide if find in this presentation. The slide is all about the good lesson plan of science. What is a good lesson plan of science? What does the lesson plan have? So it becomes a good plan. So objectives, as we discussed, that objectives need to be smart. The language of the objective, I feel this is very important, which we must focus on. So when you write the objective, you need to see the objectives are meant by thinking about the children, not about the teacher. Like if I want to teach density, and if I am just writing objectives as per my understanding, I think so. I'm sorry that I'm putting on mute. If you have a doubt, you can ask it, or you just put it in the chat. So language of the objective, the language must be uh, used by keeping children in the mind. We always think from our side, but let us put focus on the children and write the objectives. So it has to be child-facing language. The objective must be relevant to the topic. Many a times we our objective does not match with the topic which we are doing. So there has to be that it has to be relevant with the topic. Then objective need to be knowledge as well as skill based. They must be gaining some knowledge as well as their few skills. The skills are getting practiced. So it has to be knowledge as well as skill based, and it is need to be accessible also. Hook, again, the next part is hook, which need to be very interesting to involve children in the class. Like as I've given the example of singer, like hook is important, like how you are bringing their focus in the class. Once you are able to do it, half the battle is won there itself. Introduction, introduction has to be interesting as well as it should engage the children. What is the next point? Like variety of activities design to teach as well as practice. Many times it may happen you design an activity and many children get it, few do not get it. So you should always have plan B. You should always have many more activities for making them practice or for making you to teach. So activities should be designed in such a manner where you have to think of the whole class. Now it may happen it's not possible every time to think of all the children in the class and design the activity, but still you can figure it out. Like if you've been teaching the class since a lot of time, so you get to know who all are quick learners, who learn bit slowly. So design your activities in such a way that they should be applicable to all of them. And there has to be variety. No same kind of activities can be done again and again. Next is superb use of resources. I just show you a game. Online, lot of resources available, which I am going to talk in the next coming slides. You need to use the resources very well. our content is just a raw. How you are polishing the content is by using the resources. So it's a skill, I feel, to use the resources properly. Again, it's a good plan where technology is used effectively. Like as I'm doing on the Zoom, I can share the screen. I can, like if I'm, as I said, I am doing sedimentation, decantation. I can have two children, one child with soil and water, one child with a mixture of soil and water. So I can put spotlight on both of them at the same time. So the children get the picture. Okay, the case one is we have soil and water. Case two is soil plus water. So how does this help them? So like soil and water are separate. So we can say that it is not a mixture, but when they are mixed, it is a mixture. So we never know how children learn. Children do learn. Everyone's style of learning is different. They learn in a different ways. So use of technology has to be effective since we are online. Make children relate with day-to-day life experiences. So I feel what points which I have mentioned over here is not only applicable for science, but it can be applicable for, I feel, all the subjects. Make them relate what they have learned. Your lesson plan must be making them to relate. Oh, this is what today I have learned. If you are in class 6, you are doing types of plants and you have taught about them, what are herbs, shrubs, and child is going out and is noticing, oh, this is herb, this is shrub. That is the reason it is herb. That is the reason it is. If you could able to give the reasons, I think so that is best. That is the best thing about your lesson. Next is where assess part makes children to think critically. Sometimes by just doing it traditionally, we somewhere we do not focus on the assess part the way we should focus actually, because it helps you to know how much the child has gained the concept. So design it interestingly, make them critically think. Like where do you find sedimentation in day-to-day life? Where do you find decantation in day-to-day life? So let them try to relate what they have learned. Next is which gives scope to the skills of the children. Like when you write your plan, you need to see maximum skills of the children can be used. It could be listening, more than listening, it has to be doing, observing, writing, analyzing, differentiating. You need to see that the maximum skills are used by the children in your plan rather than a teacher. Then we have the plan need to be made by keeping children in mind. This we have already discussed, as we should always have children in the mind first and then a teacher. If I am doing XYZ topic, like how it would be, how my children are going to do this topic, how are they going to understand the topic? So have the perspective of children in the mind first. Homework, which is very important. Not necessary ki the homework which you are giving, it has to be done in the notebook itself. No, let's not limit the homework. Let the homework go out of the notebook now. Let them go, let them feel, let them see, let them observe, let them collect the information. So there are various ways of making the homework interesting. Then the next is which helps to develop all the skills of children which science teaches. The first slide, I think so, second slide was all about that. Number of skills were listed. So you just try to figure it out. Is my plan relevant so that these many skills can be used by a child or children? So try to, whenever you end up with the plan, just try to check it out. Okay, is there any point in my chapter or in my lesson plan which might be motivating them, which might help them to making or taking some decisions? So this can be tallied at the end. This can be cross-checked and then next is where children are doing more. There shouldn't be lecturing. The lecturing has to be zero. You need to make your plan in such a way that it has to be child facing, it has to be child centric plan, it has to be child led plan where children are doing more. If traditionally, if teacher is just keep on talking, keep on talking, as I said earlier, 10% are always there, so they'll get, but we need to think of whole 100%, not only 10%. So teacher's role has to be just a facilitator. He can just give you the instructions. There has to be clarity in the instructions, but make them do more, right from the hook, from teach to the apply to the assess to the closure. Let have their more involvement. More they involve, more they engage, best they get. Then next is, yeah, you make a plan, but you never know like how the plan goes. This is just about plan, yet we have not thought of implementing the plan. So you should always have plan B with you also. That is, so you need to see you should have all those points which makes your lesson plan a very good lesson plan. Next is all about resources. So there I have listed some resources where you can have a good, where you can get a good science riddles, where you can get good science puzzles. Okay, the toys, as well as science toys can be made by the children with the material which is easily available for them. So Arvind Gupta is the best resource for making toys, models, even performing experiments. Games you can get there. I'll share it with everyone later on, or else you can take a screenshot also. Science labs are online available for children of 6 to 12th. The specific one which I mentioned, it is available only for 11th and 12th, but rest are available for all the children from 6 to 10. So you can make them perform the experiments online. Though if they are, it's now since pandemic they are not able to come to the school, but let them perform, let them feel it that yes, I am performing. So these sites can be used to perform the experiments. Yeah, I'm ready to have the doubts now. Either you can unmute or you can just put it in the chat. Let me unmute you all. Yeah, you can go ahead now.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yeah, ma'am. Yes.
Myself, Miss Sonam,
Yeah,
and
ma'am.
I just want to know that the labs that you're talking about that we can use and they can also visualize them, they can also perform it.
Yes, yes, they can.
So I
Yes,
am a
yes, go ahead.
chemistry teacher, and my main issue is that drawing the structures, and I have a phone, not a tab.
Okay, okay.
And I'm using the notebooks for doing the organic conversion. So is there any other app where I can use the chemical reactions while drawing the structures of the organic compound?
Sure, sure. Still now I haven't got it, but if I got it, I'll surely get back to you on this. I'm noting, ma'am, this. Thank you.
And moreover, one more thing that yes, there is some there are there any sites where we can use some homemade activities like the activities or the materials that are available to their students home for the
Yes,
class
yes.
9th and 10th,
Yes,
because
yes.
basically I guess the experiments that we can perform in the class, they are just basic, like difference between heterogeneous and homogeneous, separating phenyl, but not more than that. I think so.
Yes, yes, yes. Got it, ma'am. So I will suggest you arvindguptatoys.com, where you have numerous toys and experiments performed with the material which like waste out of best kind of. So please visit arvindguptatoys.com. There's a lot of scope for what you are expecting right now.
Okay, and for class 11, 12 chemistry also.
Yeah, the concepts are they have tried their best in the best possible way to clear the concepts. You will surely get, they have some reference books also, like how the concepts of higher classes can be done with the help of the toys as well as the experiments with the homemade materials. There is a book, you just visit
Okay.
arvindguptatoys.com, you'll surely
Thank you
get
so
it.
much, sir. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Yes, anybody else?
Okay, sir. I will definitely do it.
Sure, ma'am, sure. Yeah, I'm getting some questions in the chat. OLabs is always good for practicals of, yeah, it is always good. Ola Labs, yes. So great, Matthew sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much
Yeah,
for sparing your time.
I'm just sharing the link in the chat box for the attendance or for the certificate.
Certificate. Okay, okay.
Yes,
So
sir,
participants can fill in. Thank
Sure,
you so
sure,
much.
sir. You just do ask the doubts if you really have, because I feel more we talk, more we discuss, more we get number of innovative solutions. And I think so this is the main aim of all of us, as we've been doing this teaching learning online for the very first time. So I have shared the link in the chat box for the provision certificate. Fill up the necessary data over there. So I would like to thank Matthew sir for giving me this opportunity to have a interaction with all of you. It was really good to have you over here. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Sir, you want to say something?
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And thank you for all those who joined. Just you can tell them that by when will they get the certificates? Otherwise,
Sure.
are they going to get
You'll get the certificate by tomorrow evening itself. Yes.
by tomorrow evening? So
Yes, sir.
participants, please wait till tomorrow evening. Otherwise, because sir has to send it one by one. So kindly do not ask for the certificates right now. Those who are getting good, but by
Everyone
tomorrow
will get.
evening.
Everyone will
Otherwise,
get, sir.
yeah.
Everyone will
Thank
get.
you.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, teachers. Thanks a lot. Good
Okay.
day. Bye, everyone.